Oh hey, I didn't see you there. The news is coming right up, but I'm here to tell you to stay tuned after this for two specials. The first one's a recap of the Breast Cancer Fundraiser, and after that is another episode of Movie Masters with Liv and Devin, so stay tuned. Thanks.
Good morning, KMA Tech. I'm Carson.
I'm Bernie.
And this is Cat TV News. Tomorrow is the student-staff softball game after school. Jack's game is the scholarship fundraiser. It takes place at 3 p.m. and all staff must donate $5.
Volleyball will start after school on June 5th, 11th, and 12th. From 2:30 to 3:30, buses will be available and students must have a permission slip to turn in to Mr. McKinley.
Last week, pre-engineering launched the rockets they created in class. Here's Joe and Devin with the interview.
Hello, my name is Joseph Shuck, and I'm here with Mr. Wanker. So today I'm going to be asking him questions about the rocket launch. So can you describe what's going on in this rocket launch?
So in engineering class, we are designing aerospace engineering devices, and this last couple weeks we've been doing rocketry.
So I see there's students in the corners, 3 corners. What is their job?
So the main point of the activity is to see how high we can get our rockets, and then also to try and keep our payload safe, which is a raw egg. And the guys in the corners and girls are aiming some angle devices to try and see the angle of height that the rocket went, and then they can calculate later the actual distance that they flew, the elevation, I mean. Yeah.
So lastly, about the payload, how can you use the egg as a payload?
Well, it's just to simulate something kind of delicate. So if we were launching humans into space, we wouldn't, probably fire a human first shot. So if the egg survives, then you have been successful in keeping them safe, and if not, then you killed your passenger.
Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Wanger.
Thank you, Jeff.
I'm your charismatic face of Cat TV News, Devin Roach. I'm here with
Robert Murray
and
Anthony Paluch.
So how'd you guys' flight go?
Mine was pretty successful, I'd say, out of the 7 that we had. Off a rough estimate, it was about 250 feet, and the egg came down successfully.
Awesome. What about you?
Mine, on the other hand, it may have not gone high, but it went very far sideways. Unfortunately, our egg kind of got splattered through a fence, so I would count that as unsuccessful. It probably went about maybe 60 feet tops.
That's kind of tragic. So can you tell me about the parachutes?
What about them?
Like how they work?
Well, you have to have a parachute for every piece, so for the fuselage and your capsule, and you have to fold them a certain way, and you have to put parachute lining at the bottom so that when the back charge comes up, it doesn't burn the parachute.
2, 1.
Carson Bernie.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Gang.
1.
Watch out.
Heads up.
Let's go.
5, 4, 3,
Let's go, Rob.
1.
Oh no! God! Yeah, I went. All right, Robert, can you tell us a little bit about the fuselage?
Yeah, it's basically just the whole big component of the rocket. You need to make sure that it's intact, and you decide how big or how small you want it to be depending on the size of your nose cone and your fins. And you definitely want to make sure that stays intact, or else the whole rocket will fall apart pretty much. It's the main components, the tube.
I see. Well, very, very interesting. Well, back to you.
Well, I guess that about does it. I'm Bernie.
And I'm Carson.
And
we won't see you next time.
High school students in southern New Jersey reach beyond themselves, turning their thoughts into action to support a fellow student and raise money for a cause. Here to tell us more is Diane Kashuda, teacher of English at Cape May County Technical High School.
One of our students here at Tech had lost their mother this past year due to breast cancer. So the students wanted to rally around her and show support. So as the class advisor for the sophomore class, we pulled together and organized this fundraiser to help show support for that student.
Well, this fundraiser meant a lot to me just because of what's been going on in my personal life recently. Breast cancer has affected a big majority of my life and my mother, and so being a part of this fundraiser was very special to me.
We wanted to keep it to a local organization, so we found the Susan Komen Foundation for Central South Jersey.
So my name is Suzanne Corson, and I'm the Executive Director of Susan G. Komen Central and South Jersey. 75% of the money that we raise each year stays locally. This year, we funded 10 different organizations within our 13 counties that go out and provide free mammograms, educate, provide transportation, fund child care, translation services, any sort of financial assistance.
Thank you.
To start out with, our goal was to possibly sell 1,000, to raise at least $1,000, if not more.
I felt that everyone really worked hard and worked together to reach the goal we had set, and they dedicated a lot of their time to this.
Everyone was involved, I have to say. I mean, the class of 2020, all the sophomores, however, it went beyond that. It was every class, every student, teachers were involved. They showed support by buying bracelets, giving donations, wearing pink on the day that we designated as Wear Pink Day.
Keep the change, keep the 20.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Do you want more bracelets?
You take a bracelet.
The students who wanted to show the support, who sacrificed their lunchtime to sell bracelets during their lunch hour.
Anyone like to buy some breast cancer? How much are they?
$2.
I'll buy them.
Really, the whole school became involved in this event.
I had immense pride in the entire student body. We had a fundraiser earlier this year that was just going to go towards our class, and we didn't have that much participation, but when we took ourselves out of the equation and made it towards something greater than us, everybody pulled through and worked together to achieve a higher goal.
And we were able to achieve the goal of $1,000
We made
raised.
a total of $1,000.
When you can give your time to a nonprofit, you can grow, you can learn, and see where you want your future to take you. We have a lot of different youth events. The youth are really, you can feel their excitement and their energy, and we really appreciate having them there. We have, kids that feel the effects of breast cancer within their family, and they take charge.
Based on the results and people's outpouring of support, I think it's a cause that is very near and dear to many people's hearts.
Have a great day.
Everyone rallied around this, and I'm proud of our school, proud of our students, proud of our staff, proud that everyone rallied around this event and showed their support in such a generous way.
Welcome to Movie Masters. I'm your charismatic host, Devin Roach. I'm here with
Olivia Cadenoso.
And today we are reviewing Shawshank Redemption, one of my all-time favorite movies.
This movie is directed by Frank Darabont, and it stars Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman.
The plot is a man getting convicted of murder, played by Tim Robbins, and the hardships of prison life. So, Liv, how'd you like this film?
This movie was hands down one of the greatest. In my opinion, I think it's one of the greatest films in the world because of the cinematography, the story, the plot. It's a prison film about how we follow a man and his life in prison for almost 20 years. I just think it's amazing. I love it so much that I would even consider reading the book by Stephen King.
I agree. This movie is truly something special and something to behold. It's like, it builds like the blueprint of how to make a classic. It has a good story, a good characters, good direction. It's memorable, everything is just perfect. It has great performances by Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman, and I really bought their friendship in the movie. And I think Tim Robbins had the performance of his career with this film, because you are on this emotional roller coaster with him, on his highs and lows of prison, and you really feel for him at the end of the story. And the only thing wrong with this movie is how it didn't win the Oscar that year. So everything,
for Best Picture.
Yeah, everything else.
Disappointing.
Everything else is great about it.
Yeah, and I think the characters are great. In movies, I always have trouble remembering names. I have trouble remembering a lot of stuff. But in this movie, I remember names. I remember Andy, I remember Red, I remember Brooks. It's a very powerful movie that it's just one of the greatest, and I think it's had a big impact on everybody's lives who've seen it.
Yeah, and the thing that makes this movie stand out a lot is the story is really good, and I think it's great, but it's not groundbreaking. What makes it so fantastic is the characters and the dialogue, because everyone feels important and like they're actual prisoners. And everyone in the movie, every character has something special about them, and it's something to behold. Every actor in this movie has the performance of their career, and it really is something incredible what they did. It's lightning in a bottle with this movie, and I can watch it every day.
Yeah,
it's that
and
good.
what I love is how every character has a purpose. And also, there are so many antagonists that the protagonists have to go against, that it makes their hardship even harder, that it makes us feel sorrow and makes us feel for them, which I think is very powerful, and I think that the whole movie has a huge impact.
Yeah, well, I think we both said our piece. So, moment of truth. What would you rate this movie?
Probably a 10 out of 10.
I have to agree with you. I would have to go 10 out of 10. This is my top 5 favorite movies of all time, so of course it's going to get my seal of approval. So, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. And don't forget, don't be the guy that kicks seats in the movie.